let's call to order the Sparks City Council meeting for March 25th with a roll call.
Mayor Lawson,
Here.
council members Abbott,
Here.
Vanderwell,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Bybee,
Here.
Dare, acting city attorney Dana, acting city manager Crawford.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Thank you. We'll have our invocation by Pastor Barb West.
Thank you, Mayor. Would you all join with me in prayer? Heavenly Father, how thankful we are that we can come to you today to ask you to guide this great team that we've put together. Thank you for Mayor Lawson and all of the people that serve us here at our beloved city of Sparks. We thank you too, Lord, that we can honor our Vietnam veterans. We appreciate them so much, and we're thankful that today we can declare their day. We thank you for all of our military. And we thank you too for our Sparks police, for their protection, for their help, for their love of our people and our city. Thank you for our firefighters and the EMS people. You are so good to us, Lord. So as you lead this fine council, we pray today we would honor you as well as all of those in attendance. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Lisa, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Absolutely, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, let's moving on to public comment. Got a few public comments today. Let's start with Chris Garvey, followed by Bruce Titus.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Garvey, and I live in Ward 1, and I am running for that council position. Whoops, I'm sorry. Okay, that's okay. I want to speak on a couple of items today. 9.6, here we are again with another settlement agreement before this council. Over $500,000 plus another unknown amount that continues into the future. In the last 60 days, we've had close to $1 million in settlements come before this board. And so it's concerning to the people I talk to when it's going to stop, because they know there are still pending lawsuits that come forward. And sadly, all of these have occurred during the current councilmen that are up for election during their watch. So the other item that I want to talk about is the consideration for a new city manager. And this is a very important decision that you make, because not only are you entrusting the future of our city to the guidance of, with the guidance of the council to this person, but we need to have someone that understands what the citizens want to. So you need to be able to communicate with them well. You also need to monitor them, and you need to hold them accountable when needed, so that we don't continue down this path of seeing our resources pulled away by settlements from bad judgments. So I ask you to make good choices today, and I thank our pastor and invocator today for their prayers, because we need them.
Thank you. All right, Bruce Titus, followed by Carol Woodson.
I'm here speaking on behalf of the Lower County Ranch neighborhood. We have to cross the intersection at Sawgrass, Ion, and Sparks Boulevard. It's basically the equivalent of having to cross a freeway, because there's cars there going freeway speeds, and there's no light. We desperately need a light there. Two people have been killed at that intersection, a motorcyclist and a pedestrian. After the pedestrian was killed, Sparks Traffic put in a flashing crosswalk light. That doesn't help the cars at all. In fact, it even makes it more difficult. The cars going north, the pole in the center breaks up the sight line, and it makes it that much more difficult to
judge the speeds. I got into a traffic accident after the Super Bowl. There's heavy traffic at night. It's almost impossible to judge the speeds of the cars coming. I got hit broadside by a car going about 70 miles an hour. I've got photographs here of the accident, if you don't believe me. He hit me hard enough to spin a Ford F-150 3/4 of the way around before I stopped. That accident should never, ever have happened. There should be a light there. I posted this to Nextdoor, and dozens of people contacted me or indicated that they all have horror stories about that intersection. And several people who have been in accidents there contacted me to see about putting together a class action suit against the city of Sparks. I told them, no, let's not do anything rash. Let's, bring this to the city council and give them a chance to do the right thing. But someone is going to get killed. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when somebody else gets killed at that intersection. It's a horrible intersection. So, and that's basically what I had to say. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, Carol Woodson, followed by Tony Cabiet. Help me out with the last name. Thank you. I don't have that pronunciation.
It's all right. Forgive me.
Thank you.
My name is Carol Woodson, and I am also backing Bruce on this issue of a signal there at sort of between Los Altos and Pyramid, and they drive really fast. I know as a senior citizen going out of my housing complex, it's always a little nerve-wracking to make sure you get through because there's mass cars coming one way and then the other way they're coming around, and like I say, they go very fast. So I just want to support that we do need a signal there, and with your support, hopefully that will happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tony Cabietes. All right. I know I messed that one up.
Yes, hi, I'm here in support of Mr. Bruce Titus.
Come up here and give us your name for the record first, please.
Tony Cabietes.
Thank you.
And yes, I find myself in that intersection all the time, waiting around forever almost to make that turn. And it is a very dangerous, and like Mr. Titus said, it is going to be accidents there forevermore. Now, I realize that putting a light there is probably an expensive proposition, but maybe there are some things that can be done besides that, maybe just to slow down the people that are coming down at more than the record speed there, 55 at least. And the crossing of between Ion Drive and Sawgrass, maybe you can stop that also. And I think those two things may be helpful, just to at least make that intersection a lot more safe. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Tony. Chief, will you, you get your card out to them already? Okay. But yeah, we'll have the chief get a hold of you and go into more depth with this.
All right.
Okay? Kevin Browning. Kevin, you have great penmanship, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
It's easy to read. Yours.
I think I'm lucky enough to inherit it.
Look at that.
Yes, ma'am. Right there, good? Okay, thank you. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, my name's Kevin Browning. I live on Whitney Circle, which is Ward 5. And I'm here in regards to a zoning violation at 4545 Whitney Circle. Myself and several other neighbors have called the zoning department, left messages. As far as I know, one neighbor has gotten a response that said that they knew about the complaint and that it was an ongoing action. This was quite a while ago, probably a year or longer since we've heard anything, and it's only gotten worse. As you can see by the photos, they're not great photos, but that is the front of the house looking toward the front door. You can see the piles of tree limbs and that type of stuff lying there. What you can't see, which I didn't see at first, was up by the front door, there's tree limbs and there's all kinds of stuff they put out there to the point where you'd be lucky to get in and out of that front door. It's that much. Let me go to the second photo real quick for you. Yep, that's the third photo, sorry. Second photo is, you can see more of the entryway and more of the garbage that's piled there. The vehicle sitting there they do use. And the third photo shows the rest of that driveway. It's a 3-car garage with 2 vehicles sitting there that have been sitting like that for years and have never moved, along with a bunch of garbage. I spoke to the neighbor next door. They're an older couple, both retired, very nice home, and they have to look at that every day as they go in and out of their house. They tell me that the gentleman originally was married. They had fights over and over and over with his wife. They finally divorced. She left. Now there's another lady living there, and that she's got a 6-year-old child also living there, which is a concern. I have never been in the house. I don't know what it looks like inside, but I can imagine what it looks like outside is probably what it looks like inside. And for a child, I don't believe that's safe. They also told me that the people are not very willing to work with them or do anything with them. The sad part is, he told me that the gentleman works up at Washoe County Jail, so I don't know where that goes. But my biggest concern, also a fire hazard, because of all the limbs and all the junk that's piled around there, and being able to get in and out of that house if needed in an emergency. So what I'm asking for, I guess, is for the city council to please try to expedite the zoning processes on this, and maybe a fire inspection to see where they're at.
Thanks, Kevin. John, will you,
Thank you very much.
Michael, will you get with him and figure this out?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak in public comment? Come on down. Sir, let's start with you, sir, since you're on the end.
Correct. I haven't filled out a card, but I will.
Will, under penalty of death.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Augustini, and I live up in Spanish Springs area. I did not intend to speak tonight, but I see, this afternoon, but I do see a number of people have been talking about putting a light there at Ion. And I don't know that we need another light in this town. We have lots of lights. What I would hope people would realize is, because of the danger in that intersection, let's get rid of the intersection. Let's not have it so that you can go across Sparks Boulevard. Just cut that off. Putting a light in there is simply going to mean the people that are going 50 and 60 miles an hour or more on that road, they're going to run lights. And you're still going to end up with accidents. So I think if we can think about maybe removing the obstacle here and just don't make it so that people can have to go across Sparks. Or if you give them the opportunity, even though they may know it's dangerous, they're still going to go across it. We've had a couple of speakers here who were advocating putting a light in there that said they sit there sometimes waiting and waiting for it to clear. Well, I would wonder, why do you keep doing that? Just go up to Los Altos. There's a light there that you can then navigate your way across Sparks Boulevard. But putting a light in there does not seem like the best remedy available. I would like to see just take that whole intersection out of the equation. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Pam, did you want to speak? Please give us your name for the record.
My name is Carol Lytle, Lytle. I would just like to, I hadn't planned on speaking today, just to come and support Kevin. I'm new in the neighborhood, and it's hard to not notice those landmarks when you're first go in. And this is kind of funny, but I wanted to say that Kevin's pictures were in black and white, and I want you to know that the obstacles and branches are a fire hazard, but most of, or half of the articles are in the area in the front yard are about the same color as my leggings. So when you drive in, this is what you see amongst the branches, is you see little tyke orange and little tyke green and kind of like this, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Please fill out a card for us, ma'am. All right, anyone else in the public wishing to speak?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like the record to show that we did also receive 15 emailed public comments that are attached to your agenda packets under 4.1.
Okay. We can get you at the end, if you stick around. No rebuttals. Because I always like to tell a council especially, this is public comment, not public dissertation. All right, so let's move on to the agenda. I'm looking for an approval of the agenda. Mr. Anderson
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
and Mr. Dare.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
That's right, Donald. Yeah, I'm old school. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Approval of the minutes. Looking for approval of the minutes or any additions or corrections. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to approve the minutes of the Sparks City Council meeting and budget workshop for February 26, 2024.
Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that motion.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right. Announcements and items of special interest. Boards and commissions vacancy announcement, the Sparks Arts and Culture Advisory Committee. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. There is one vacancy on the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee, ACAC, to fill a partial term November 30th of 2024. This vacancy is for a performing arts representative. Members of the ACAC must be a Washoe County resident, possess a full understanding of being an arts advocate, and have 5 years or more experience as an arts advocate. Applications will be accepted until March 29th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Persons interested in serving on these committees should complete a community service application online at the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us/get-involved. Simply complete the volunteer application form and hit submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. 7.2 proclamation, National Vietnam Veterans Day. Mr. Stafford, can I have you come sit down front here? And Mr. Abbott's going to read this. Have a seat here at the dais, or the table. Thank you.
Perfect. Whereas the nation has paused every year since Memorial Day 2012 and will do so until Veterans Day 2025 to recognize National Vietnam War Veterans Day on March 29th to remember the over 58,000 patriots, their names etched in black granite, who sacrificed all they had and all they would ever know for loved ones and for the nation. And whereas in 2016, the Department of Veteran Affairs estimated that 9 million Americans served on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces during the Vietnam War. Approximately 7 million of them were living in 2016, and far too many have passed due to the ravages of Agent Orange, suicide, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And whereas in keeping with the founding principle of Vietnam Veterans of America, never again will one generation of veterans abandon another. Vietnam Veterans of America Sierra Nevada Chapter 989 has taken this time and date to honor and recognize the sacrifices of their brothers and sisters of the Vietnam War, previous wars, and those veterans who followed in wars after Vietnam in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. And whereas the City of Sparks recognizes that the courage and commitment of our armed forces does not change over the years, and we reverve it, but we also continue to feel the pain of every loss and wound, just as we feel the joy of every homecoming. And whereas throughout these conflicts, we also honor the Gold Star families of the fallen from every conflict and remember those who gave their last full measure in the defense of freedom. And whereas we take this time to honor Vietnam veterans on their National Day and recommit to honoring all who wear and have worn the uniform of the armed forces of the United States over the years. Now therefore, on behalf of Ed Lawson, the mayor of the city of Sparks, do hereby proclaim March 29th, 2024 as National Vietnam Veterans Day.
Mr. Schultz, give us your name for the record and then any.
For the record, J.R. Stafford, President of the Sierra Nevada Chapter, Vietnam Veterans of America. And I thank you wholeheartedly, Mr. Mayor, Honorable Council, everybody else here in the chapter, in the council chambers. I was told to just come along with Andy, who was supposed to be, he said, no, JR, you go up. So I am honored and I accept your proclamation on behalf of the Sierra Nevada chapter. Also, you have two members of the Carson City chapter sitting here, Vietnam veterans, Chapter 388 in Carson City. We share a bond, but we also share a bond with our brothers and sisters from Iraq, Afghanistan, and the like. Those of us remaining from our generation are passing faster and faster every year. And again, as mentioned in the proclamation, suicide, PTSD, and the ravages of Agent Orange. We thank you for recognition of our service, and we honor the service of our brothers and sisters from Iraq, Afghanistan, and those currently standing at Freedom's Gate all over the world. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Joe. Go ahead.
Donald, I think we're going to get a picture with them up here with us. We're going to get a picture with them with all of us. Yeah. JR, I do want to say on behalf of the council, you did a fantastic job. You did a fantastic job this last weekend. It was an awesome time to come and just hear the memories. Andy, you shared incredibly as well, and I know it touched a lot of hearts, but thank you. But please come up here so we can all take a picture with you.
And usually I am too, so there you go. This one.
Oh, I'm tall enough. You're good. Where's the camera? You can fill it right here. Yep.
There you go. Do you want to pull over here?
Oh, come on now.
Come
on.
Just a little bit.
All right, let's go. Tighten it up.
There we go.
right.
There we go.
I was already sucking it in.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
We're just, I know.
Have to fly in a helicopter.
You are my generation.
Oh, thank goodness. He didn't miss
Absolutely.
anything.
No. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item 7.3, accommodation for Bill Schultz and the Reno Media Group. Are you here, Bill? Have a seat there, and Diane's going to read your proclamation.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Shills Turkey Trot is an annual running and walking event that is not only a great way to burn calories on Thanksgiving Day, but proceeds from the event's registration fees benefit Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful and American Radio Emergency Service. And whereas Bill Schultz and Reno Media Group joined the Turkey Trot family in 2005 when Reno Media Group became a media sponsor, providing event information on all Reno Media Group radio stations along with live coverage and music on race day. And whereas through rain, shine, and snow, Bill Schultz and his staff have become a part of the Turkey Trot family tradition. And whereas the City of Sparks extends our heartfelt gratitude for 18 years of unwavering support and countless contributions to the Shields Turkey Trot. Now therefore, I, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, do hereby join with the City Council in commending Reno Media Group and Bill Schultz for their role in making Shields Turkey Trot a remarkable success.
Well, thank you so much, Consul and Mr. Mayor. It really is a labor of love to go out every Thanksgiving morning to hang out with Tanya from the City of Sparks Parks and Rec. Every Thanksgiving, it is such a wonderful tradition to go out there with a lot of the council members and, of course, the Honorable Mayor coming out and starting the Turkey Trot. Like you said, rain or shine, it's always a joy because we've seen all facets of weather, but it's all for such a great cause, and it seems to grow every single year, and we look forward to many more years of the Turkey Trot. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Any comments from the council? It's good to see you more than once a year.
I'd like to share something real quick, sir.
Go ahead.
I just want to say you guys support so much more in the community as well, and I want to thank you guys. I mean, this is one thing they do, but they do stuff all across the region for our veterans that were just here, so you guys are awesome, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Probably should be for that one, yeah. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. All right, 7.4, commendation for Wild Island Coconut Bowl. Do we have someone here from there? Come on down. Paul's gonna read your proclamation.
Thanks for joining us. Whereas the Sparks Parks and Recreation Department hosts the Leisure Without Limits program to provide barrier-free environments and experiences for residents with all abilities. And whereas in 2008, Wild Island Family Adventure Park's Coconut Bowl became the home of the Sparks Parks and Recreation Leisure Without Limits bowling program. And through their generosity, over 50 athletes have enjoyed bowling and visiting with friends every Wednesday afternoon since then. And whereas in 2023, the general manager of Coconut Bowl provided each athlete with a special bowling shirt that they were able to wear proudly during the 2023 Regional Special Olympics Bowling Tournament at the National Bowling Stadium. And whereas the athletes truly consider Coconut Bowl Wild Island their bowling home, and whereas the City of Sparks would like to express our appreciation for Coconut Bowl's continued support of Leisure Without Limits bowling program over the past 15 years, now therefore Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, do hereby join the City Council in commending Wild Island Family Adventure Park's Coconut Bowl for being such a generous community member. Thank you.
Go ahead, give us your name for the record and say a few words.
My name is Craig Buster. It's an honor, like, for us to have them and Tanya and her team and the kids and the families. Yeah, giving the shirts out to those kids was really special to us. it's a great community piece for us. It's something that's very dear to my heart and our team as well. And I can tell you that our entire management team of 22 and 200 people is, they're always honored. They love having them out here on Wednesdays, so we appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And I'll tell you, that's one of the great joys I get in my life is to go and visit with those people and say hi and at the Coconut Bowl. It's just a cool event to see every Wednesday. So I encourage you to get by there and see them on Wednesdays because you can't go away unhappy. You just always are happy. So thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely.
Donald.
As someone that's also gone along with the mayor and watched it, it's very heartfelt to watch all those individuals just love what they do out there bowling and having a blast. And, I think it's a great reminder for all of us that we take maybe some things too seriously in life, that we can just enjoy, just bowling. And then I also just want to give you a shout out, Craig, as well as Wild Island. I remember back when we did Valentine cards for seniors, you reached out and they offer Wild Island about $20,000 in kind gift certificates to kiddos that created that made Valentine cards for the seniors. And it was an awesome, it wasn't an ask from me, it was Craig reaching out to me, which I just appreciate what Wild Island's doing for the whole community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Don,
Anyone
did
else?
you wish to add anything?
No, Don Ross, we value this community and we've invested immense resources in providing a family-oriented activity focused center for our families. And we love being in this community. We are one of the few attractions that comes to this community from all the outlying areas. We attract people from all over, and this is one of those things that we do, among others, that we try to bolster our community and make it a great place to live. Thank you.
Don, anyone else? Ms. Bybee?
I just want to thank you, obviously, for the Leisure Without Limits, but really as a community destination. I've been here a while, and I was here, my kids were little when you opened up Coconut Bowl. Coconut Bowl has been there and expanded, obviously, but Wild Island was like the new hot thing, in the summertime, but the golf, the other attractions, and Coconut Bowl itself just is an incredible place that I know my family, kind of a tradition, the day after Thanksgiving, instead of shopping, we go bowl, and I'm terrible, but it's always just a really fun family, and to see the amount of families there and birthday parties, and just, it really is a central place for everyone, like you said, in the region, but for our Sparks residents to bring their families, their grandkids, and a really nice, fun, safe place that is part of what Sparks is, families and family-friendly. You guys do it the best, so thank you for all you do. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll get you a picture with Councilman Anderson, please. Okay. All right, that brings us to consent items. Anyone wishing to pull a consent item? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to approve consent items 8.1 through 8.3 as submitted.
Ms. Vanderwell.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. 9.1. Chief, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the building official's appointment to the Building Code Board of Appeals from the following pool of applicants listed in alphabetical order. Michael Picorio? Say that for me.
Pecorino.
Thank you. It's a long list, I know, but you're gonna choose one? Or am I choosing?
I believe you're recommending, sorry, Chris Crawforth, your acting city manager, for the record. You have a selection of one, so I believe that's who you're recommending.
Yes, we're gonna recommend Michael Pecorino. Any further discussion? Not, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson.
Move to approve the appointment of Michael Pecorino to the Sparks Building Code Board of Appeals Electrical Engineer, Electrical Contractor Representative for a 2-year term ending March 31st, 2026.
Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Donald, you showed up before you said aye. Motion carries unanimously.
A little weird being the only one.
I know. 9.2, consideration, discussion, and possible direction to the acting city manager and city attorney to negotiate an employment agreement to fill the city manager vacancy with one of the following candidates listed in alphabetical order: Aaron Kubik and Dion Lothan. And I think we did put together a great process here, quite frankly. We had the employees involved, we had the community involved, we had all the council involved. We had, everybody got exposure to these two gentlemen. And, I mean, they stood out amongst the 6 we interviewed in the one day. And then they got here, and they're so close, so close. I mean, we literally can't go wrong with either choice. I think they would both be excellent for the city of Sparks. But my decision really kind of came down to a couple, 2 or 3 degrees of separation for me. And I chose Dion Lothan as our new city manager.
Well, Mayor, for the record, Chris Crawford, your acting city manager. I don't have much more to say because I think you said everything I was going to say. But no, we're excited. Obviously, we really went live with our national search in late December, closed at the end of January. We had a lot of applicants and worked it down to 2 folks. To your point, I don't believe you can go wrong. I was really excited with the process, not only including staff and the public, but every step of the way. So, and a lot of information everyone provided to you folks to make a good decision for our future. So, and I'm looking forward to picking and going back to 1 job. So 2's a lot. So
I bet you're looking forward to that.
So.
And I want to say thank you to everybody who was involved in the process, the employees and the public. It was your input and your feedback to me was greatly appreciated. There's some great insightful questions that you guys had. One in particular, just, one guy comes from a smaller community, one's from a larger. He says, are we going to be a small community or a large community? Put that in as part of the choice. And then just so much of the articulation that people really put a lot of effort into this. And I really appreciate that you guys took that time to make that happen. So I don't think we need any comment yet, but I do need a motion.
And I can help clarify per our charter, the mayor makes the recommendation and then you folks, or the selection, you folks make the recommendation. So.
Ms. Bybee.
I move to direct the acting city manager and city attorney to negotiate an employment agreement to fill the city manager vacancy with Dion Lothan.
Okay, and Ms. Vanderwell.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please.
I just wanted to say one thing. My button not
I'll
working?
give you a chance at the end. We can
Okay.
Get through this vote. All those in favor, please vote.
Aye.
Thank you, Donald. Motion carries unanimously. Now you can speak.
Thank you. So one of the things I do want to say for the public is that the process of this did not actually have to come in front of us like it did, and I want to thank the mayor and city manager, acting city manager, for what they did, because in the past we've seen other cities do it where they just go and choose, and then it comes to us, but they really involved everyone in the process, and I think it's important we see that because I think that was an important thing we needed in this season for our city, for our staff, and I just want to give you guys thanks. I think that was a great process. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bybee.
I would also like to echo my thanks to acting city manager and the mayor for this process. I've been here 9 years, and so this is my 3rd city manager, will be my 3rd city manager. And so the process itself was great because we always would just confirm what the mayor said, but we didn't have a part in it at all. And I think our voices, but most importantly, our employees' voices and our community's voices and opportunity to be a part of it, I think we're critical to us making a decision that works for everyone moving forward. And our finalists, the six semifinalists were a great group, very diverse group of individuals, and the final two it was a tough decision because both gentlemen brought different strengths. I'm excited to be supporting Mr. Luthen. I think a lot of what he brings to the table is really beneficial. Roseville is very similar in size to our city. He's been in Henderson. Henderson and Sparks are always compared to a lot of the things and how they operate in Henderson. We will still be Sparks, but I think his experience he brings to the table, and really, more importantly, really his outlook on how he plans on working with staff, with residents, with all of us. It spoke loudly in a lot of his answers of how he knows where he's going, but he is really just willing to work with all of us, not to come in and think he has to make big changes. I think the experience he has will help that, but I think he really is willing to learn and to move with us and help us move as we continue to grow. And I think that's going to be a really important. So I'm excited, really excited.
Anyone else? Donald?
I want to thank you, Chief, for definitely filling in for this role during all this. I think that's something moving forward with Mr. Luthen. I think he was the right choice. I think both candidates were good, no doubt at all. But I think that's what you've accomplished so far is an amazing reset at City Hall, as well as police, fire, public, everyone, Tom Wharf. And that's something I think we want to, or at least speaking for myself, commit to our employees that we want to keep that. We want to continue to hear from them. We want to continue to get that feedback because we want to keep this the best place to work at, to live at, to be employed at. And I'm very thankful that we had many conversations on this. We had amazing community engagement the other day, but it's still all of our phones are available to reach out, let us know what's going on in the city because we want to make sure that we're guiding the ship still in the best way, where we're all getting along, talking, not in silos. And I think that's a strong message. I believe that I think we're sure Dion's has heard from all of us, and I think we'll continue on. I just want to send that message to all of our employees because I know, who knows what the future has, but I know all of us, I think, have the backs of our employees, and we want to make sure it's the best place it can be. So that was all I got. Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Either one of you? Paul?
Chief, let me chime in as well and join just saying thank you for the work you've been doing. And obviously you're going to be with us for a while longer here as acting manager. But thank you for helping in this transition, in this process during this rough seas that you've been helping us out. You've been doing a phenomenal job. And I want to say thank you to the mayor for allowing us to, as a community, as a council, as managers, everyone that was involved in this process. I truly believe that we have picked the best of the best as a result of everyone having an opportunity to meet the different candidates, talk to them, and be a part of the process. And I just want to say, well done. I think we've set up the city well for our future.
Thank you very much. It's been my honor.
And I'm looking forward to no more 4:30 in the morning emails.
I'll do that occasionally just
Yeah,
for you.
you're
Mayor.
the hardest working man I've ever met, so I really want to thank you for doing double duty. I know it's not been easy switching hats and driving down the street and driving back up the street and, trying to keep all these balls in the air. So thank you very much for everything you've done, Chris. It was a true honor.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
You're not going anywhere yet, though. All right, 9.3, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of an amendment number 3 to the employment agreement AC 5706 between the City of Sparks and the Police Chief Chris Crawford with an estimated cost increase of $27,945. And this is basically, we're extending his contract to be Assistant City Manager, or the City Manager.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and City Council. For the record, I'm Allison McCormick, your Assistant City Manager. And because Chief/Manager Crawforth isn't going anywhere for a while, I am seeking your approval of the third amendment to his employment contract to keep him on as acting city manager through the end of July. This amendment would maintain Chief Crawforth's role as acting city manager through July 28th, and also extend the acting pay that's already covered in his second amendment to his employment agreement in the amount of $2,070 per pay period. That's where that total estimate of approximately $27,945 comes from, is that acting pay and any PERS contributions on that number. This amendment would also add a stipend for the purpose of paying for post-retirement health insurance. That stipend is consistent with other sworn personnel in our police department. Last but not least, the amendment would also award Chief Crawforth 4 weeks of additional personal leave for use during fiscal year '25. As mentioned, he's been working all hours, so a little extra time off with his family after he's done this dual role is the ask there. Staff does anticipate filling the city manager vacancy before the end of the amendment's term in July, and staff is recommending approval. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Okay, not, I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to approve amendment number 3 to the employment agreement AC-5706 between the City of Sparks and Police Chief Chris Crawforth with an estimated cost increase of $27,945.
Mr. Dare.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Allison. 9.4, consideration, discussion, possible acceptance of reimbursement from Washoe County 911 surcharge funds in the amount of $26,250 for the purchase of First Due software for Sparks Fire Department's pre-planning and emergency response. Mr. Berry, Captain Berry.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Darren Berry. I'm a captain with your fire department. The agenda item I have today is seeking approval and reimbursement $26,250 from the Washoe County 911 surcharge fund. This is a reoccurring item that the 911 surcharge tax pays for. The program is called First Due. It provides call information, direction to the call for service, pre-incident planning, and updates real-time on high-risk occupant data. This information is sent basically to our cell phones and also the computers and all of the responding fire apparatus. Washoe County approved the reimbursement during their February 20th meeting. I am here seeking approval to request reimbursement from Washoe County, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have, and thank you.
All right, questions from the council? You did such a great job, no one has any questions. I'm
Thank you,
looking
Mayor.
for a motion. Mr. Anderson.
Move to accept the reimbursement from Washoe County 911 surcharge funds in the amount of $26,250 for the purchase of First Due software for Sparks Fire Department pre-planning and emergency response.
Ms. Bybee.
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Are you here for the next one too, Darren?
No, sir.
9.5.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. 9.5, consideration, discussion, and possible direction to the city manager to apply for Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, assistance to firefighters grant AFG program requesting, let me get my commas in the right place, $1,051,758.04 with required matching funds up to $105,175.80 for a total request of $1,156,933.84. Don't forget the 84 cents.
That's good. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. Kevin Jacobus, Division Chief in your fire department. And yeah, the agenda item we have for you today is a request to approve for the Assistance to Firefighters grant. Brief history on this grant actually started in the year 2000. It got reauthorized in 2017. And this is actually the sunset year. So right now, this is the last year of the AFG grant. It did make it through the Senate. It just passed committee in the House, so it's likely to continue on. But right now, we are in the sunset year.
How this grant works is they identify low, medium, and high priority items. So on the fire department side, we do a internal risk assessment, see what we have for equipment that meets the high priority, because if you put in for low, you're not gonna get it. It's a fixed amount of funds that every fire department across the nation competes for. So what we identified with was our SCBA, so it's a self-contained breathing apparatus. That's the packs we wear on our back. We're a couple generations behind, which meets the minimums for AFG to identify that as a high priority item. The newer packs, they have a higher pressure, so instead of 4,500 pounds per bottle, it's 5,500 pounds per bottle, so it just makes it smaller, so it's a lower profile on our back. The other bigger item on there is these newer generation packs can be fully decontaminated. So when our crews wear them in and they come out of a fire, they can be fully decon. So we get all the carcinogens, byproducts of combustion, all that stuff, it gets off of them, so it reduces the exposure to our personnel. It does align us with our regional partners, so we have a fairly strong ask in that regard. What comes in those packs, so about $1 million of it is the 68 packs. That comes with the pack that goes on your back, 2 cylinders, and a mask for each one of our personnel in the number of 68. We also asked for an addition to it, which is an air compressor. So the newer style air compressors are better served to fill these higher pressure bottles. It matches the one that we're gonna purchase for Fire Station 6. We put in for a sister ship to this, so we can have 2 of the matching compressors. Again, going back to FEMA, they identify a life cycle of equipment of 8 to 14 years. Our youngest one, or our newest one, is 20 years old, so we're within that ballpark on hitting the FEMA requirements for the age of it. Before I wrap this up, I'd definitely like to give a shout out to Mel Evans. She was actually scheduled to be here and co-present, but she had a scheduling commitment that she was unable to be here. But she's definitely like the coach keeping this going along. I get pulled a bunch of different directions in the fire side, but she definitely keeps this ball rolling along, so I'd like to acknowledge her contribution in here. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions from the council? Mr. Abbott?
If we were, obviously crossing fingers, we get this grant, what if we don't get this grant? Are we writing a $1 million check?
So we are trying to budget for it down the road in the fiscal year through our equipment. It's not something that we have today, but it is on our radar of something that if we're unsuccessful with grant applications, it will be something we'll have to hit down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to direct the city manager to apply for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Assistance to Firefighters Grant AFG program, requesting $1,051,758.04 with required matching funds up to $105,175.80 for a total request of $1,156,933.84.
Mr. Anderson.
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
9.6, consideration, discussion, and possible approval or rejection of a settlement agreement AC 6037 and Forbush v. the City of Sparks, case number 3-21-CV-00163-MMD-CSD for $525,000 to be paid by the city's insurer in addition to post-retirement health benefits stipend to be paid by the city.
Thank you, Mayor Lawson and City Council. Again, I'm Allison McCormick, your Assistant City Manager. I am seeking the City Council's approval of a settlement agreement in Forbush versus City of Sparks. Key settlement terms include $525,000 to be paid by the city's insurance company, Travelers Insurance, as well as a stipend for post-retirement health benefits to be paid by the city in line with the collective bargaining agreement that City Council recently approved for Sparks Police Protective Association, or SPPA, members. That stipend is 70% of the annual group health insurance premium, roughly $15,000 at current premium rates, and that would reduce to 40% of the annual premium once Mr. Forbush reaches Medicare eligibility age. All other parties have approved the settlement agreement, and staff recommends that City Council do the same. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, I am looking for a motion. You have 2 options. You can move to agree or move to reject. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to approve the settlement agreement AC 6037 in Fort Bush versus City of Sparks, case number 321-CV-00163-MMD-CSD for $525,000 to be paid by the city's insurer, in addition to a post-retirement health insurance stipend to be paid by the city.
Mr. Anderson.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
9.7, consideration, discussion, possible approval of a construction contract, AC 6036, with Sierra Nevada Construction, Inc., in the amount of $1,131,007 for the 2024 Drainage and Roadway Improvement Project on H Street, the bid number 2324-014, PWP-WA-2024-172. Hey, I'm getting better at those, aren't I?
You're
Amber,
doing
huh?
amazing. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. Amber Sosa, Transportation Manager. As introduced, this is a construction contract for our 2024 Drainage and Roadway Improvement Project. The proposed project involves the complete replacement of the curb and gutter, sidewalk, driveway approaches, and the roadway section on H Street, as shown in the map that you see on your screen. You'll see to the left Pyramid Way and down to the south Prater. This project is H Street from Pyramid to 4th and H Street from 4th to G Street. The existing curb and gutter infrastructure has deteriorated to a point where we cannot get surface water off of the roadway. So making changes in the curb and gutter also causes us to make changes in the sidewalk as well as the entire roadway section. The project is included in the fiscal year 24 capital improvement plan. We advertised this project on February 14th. We received 4 qualifying bids, with Sierra Nevada Construction submitting the low bid at $1,131,007. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion.
Can I make a motion, Mayor?
You can, since it's in your ward.
Absolutely. I move to approve a construction contract AC-6036 with Sierra Nevada Construction, Inc. in the amount of $1,131,007, no cents, for the 2024 Drainage and Roadway Improvement Project, H Street bid number 23-24-014, PWP-WA-2024-172.
Ms. Vanderwell. Second. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Amber. 9.8, consideration, discussion, of possible approval of a construction contract, AC 6035, in the amount of $269,847 with Gerhart and Berry Construction, Inc. for the sanitary sewer spot repair bid number 2324-008-PWP-WA-2024-073. I got them all right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, council members. Rob Beadart, new utility manager. The agenda item before you is the award of the contract for the annual sanitary sewer spot repair to Gerhart and Berry Construction. The project will repair, actually, sorry guys. How do I get the full thing up here? The full picture? Yeah, thanks. Sorry about that, guys. So, the project will repair 6 individual localized sewer pipe failures within the McCarran Loop or near McCarran Loop. These are older sections of the city. These locations were identified by Public Works crews where they have continually had maintenance concerns. We received 8 bids on February 15th, 3 of those bids were deemed non-responsive due to the fact that they did not acknowledge or provide the addendum at the time of bid opening. The remaining 5 bids range from $269,000 to $397,000. Staff is recommending award of the spot repair contract to Gerhart and Berry in the amount of $269,847. With that, I will answer any questions you have.
Questions from the council? Mr. Anderson?
Could you explain the importance of this repair work? What exactly is the city going to be doing, and what's going to be alleviated as a result?
So this is one of our 3 annual programs that we have for, let me take in a point, you've seen in the past for street projects, you've seen slurry, crack seal, and all those kind of projects. These are similar projects to us for sewer. So the spot repair project is we identify locations where we have issues, pipe failures, minor issues within the pipes. Areas that aren't deemed necessary to have full rehab replacement, and where we can do a quick spot repair, and then we come back in with our cured in place pipe program to fix the rest of the pipe. So it alleviates that immense cost that we have for rehab projects, and life cycle continues.
Mr. Dare?
So I'm a big word guy, and we use the word failure, and that makes my brain go, do we have 6 spots where we have sewage leaking into our community? Obviously, I believe the answer should be no, I hope, because we would be running after that. But I say that, would you explain, it just means there's cracks and we need to come back and fix them? What is that? What is the depth of the damage?
Either we may be having failures on the bottom of the pipe, or we might have a joint displacement. And in that aspect, we are not losing sewage to the.
Hallelujah, very good. That's good to know.
So we're trying to fix those prior to them even happening. So it's kind of more of along the lines, it might be an emergency case, but these are spots that we have identified that aren't emergencies.
Well, the thing we know, and some of this we get conversations that we get updated and stuff, so for our community to understand, thank you guys for constantly inspecting our pipes and doing all the work you do. So we don't want these failures. We don't want catastrophic failure. And so that's what this will help fix. I just could imagine somebody saying, oh no, there's failure happening in our sewage. It's not. We are fixing it to make sure and on it to make sure. So thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Dare?
I move to approve a construction contract AC 6035 in the amount of $269,847 with Gerhart and Berry Construction, Inc. for the sanitary sewer spot repair bid number 23/24-008, PWP-WA-2024-073.
Ms. Vanderwell?
A second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Robin. Consideration discussion, 9.9, consideration discussion and possible direction to the city manager to initiate changes to the Sparks Municipal Code sections 20.02.013 and 20.03.016 and 20.05.007 to amend permitting regulations related to drive-through facilities. Danny Ray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the City Council, good afternoon. I'm Danny Ray, a senior planner. I'm here to present this item today, which is a request for direction from the City Council to consider entitlement options respective to drive-through facilities. Councilmember Vanderwell, you recently requested that the acting city manager, Crawforth, provide the City Council the opportunity to direct the manager to amend the sections of the Sparks Municipal Code regulating drive-through facilities, to potentially consider applications for drive-through facilities through the administrative review process. Staff would like to request direction from the City Council to evaluate the best process for drive-through facilities, including potentially conditional use permits. This agenda item allows the City Council to direct the manager to proceed with drafting amendments related to drive-through facilities in the City of Sparks. For some background, the code sections listed in the slide regulate how the city approves drive-through facilities for new construction, but don't provide any regulation for existing drive-through facilities that may undergo a change in intensity of use. For example, a drive-through originally approved through the administrative review process for a financial services use, such as a bank with drive-through access, which is a low-intensity use, request to change to a coffee or fast food drive-through use, a much higher intensity activity. Such a change of intensity of use currently is allowed by right without further review. As such, the city cannot review impacts to traffic, parking, noise, light, and air quality, except in terms of the original approval, be it an approved administrative review or conditional use permit, such as for the bank. The City Council may initiate an amendment process, granting staff the flexibility to evaluate the best process by evaluate the change of intensity of use in existing drive-through facilities, perhaps either through an administrative review or conditional use permit process. This can be accomplished by directing the acting city manager to direct staff to bring back to the City Council an amendment to the Sparks Municipal Code that would amend permitted regulations related to drive-through uses to possibly evaluate and condition potential impacts to the community. This concludes my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, questions from the council, comments? Anybody? Ms. Vanderwell?
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate this. I guess, in my opinion, coming from the Planning Commission, I think I would possibly like to see a conditional use permit so that we are evaluating impacts, especially like going from a financial services to a higher vehicle count on something. So, I mean, that's just my feeling about it, so.
If I may,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mayor. Councilwoman Vanderwell, the administrative review process does exactly the same thing, except not through a public hearing.
Okay.
And not with the Planning Commission, but all of those issues are reviewed through the administrative review process as well.
Okay.
We would, staff is asking for the flexibility in researching this process to make a recommendation as to what the appropriate process would be after our research.
Well, then I'll amend my comments and I will let you guys come back and tell me which is going to be more efficient for you guys. And also, of course, I would like to move along applications. I don't want them stuck. So if administrative review will work and it's faster and we're evaluating everything, that's great with me. Thank you.
Mr. Dare?
I would agree that I think, I say that, I know you guys are gonna work on it and pull things back to us, and we appreciate that, but I do think a process must be in place. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think that should be, but I do think just because somebody just because there's a change, when there's a change, it has to be evaluated and looked at, because we can create unintended consequences by just letting somebody do what somebody else did. They're not the same at all. So thank you for bringing that up.
Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, just following suit to say thank you for researching this and coming to us, and I'm looking forward to seeing where you guys think we should land on it, but I appreciate the fact that y'all are looking at it. We've all addressed concerns with potentially vehicles being queued up onto major roadways and causing issues, and I shared with staff just a couple weeks ago, I had a near miss of literally a couple feet by exactly that problem, that it was one of the major thoroughfares in Reno, not Sparks, but in Reno, and the vehicles were stopped trying to get in to one of the drive-through facilities. The vehicle that was coming out did not see traffic because it was blocked with all the vehicles stopped, and it was a near miss. So I want to make sure those kind of things happen as infrequently as possible in the city of Sparks as well. So thank you.
Okay, anyone else? I agree. We all know where that place is, kind of by across from the convention center.
Yes, we all do.
Yep.
I know where it is.
And, yeah, and that is scary because people do come to a dead stop right in the middle of Virginia Street.
Yep.
And so we don't want to create our own problems. So I'm also with Ms. Vanderwell. What's the safest, fastest, easiest way to get the application processed while giving them an answer? No is an acceptable answer also. So, okay, with that, then I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to direct the city manager to initiate changes to Sparks Municipal Code Sections 20.02.013, 20.03.016, and 20.05.007 to amend permitting regulations relating to drive-through facilities.
Ms. Spivey.
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Danny. All right, Madam Clerk, 11.1, the first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is first reading of Bill number 2820 to amend a final approved plan for the DeAndrea Development Standards Handbook to 1, update the land use map, associated density calculations, and the adoption of design standards for development of townhomes in the planned Monticello Village. 2, limit the DeAndrea Community Association's review timeline for future amendments to the DeAndrea Development Standards Handbook to 30 days. 3, remove the requirement for Planning Commission to review architectural elevations. And 4, modify regulations for traffic control signage. A public hearing will be held and Bill 2820 will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, April 8th, 2024 at 2 p.m. in the Sparks City Council Legislative Building. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment?
We did not receive any additional public comment, Mr.
The
Mayor.
public wishing to speak at this time? Okay, we'll bring it back to the dais. Announcements from the mayor, city council, city manager. Chief, you got anything?
No, sir.
You got a busy day?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anyone, council? Okay, all right. Well, then we are going on to my other favorite subject is adjournment.
Give me this. Okay, give us a couple minutes, and then we're
What's that,
going to go to
redevelopment?
the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting in a few minutes, when the clerk gives me a green light. Oh, yeah, it's not.
316.
I'd like to call to order the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting of Monday, March 25th with a roll call.
Chairperson Bybee.
Here.
Agency members Lawson.
Here.
Abbott.
Here.
Vanderwell. Here. Anderson.
Here.
Dare.
Here.
Acting Chief Legal Officer Dana. Acting Chief Administrative Officer Crawford.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to item 3.1, public comment. Do I have any public comment? Seeing none, I will close item 3.1. Item 4.1, approval of the agenda. Looking for an approval. Agency Member Vanderbilt.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Agency Member Lawson.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote.
Aye. I'm excited, I get to vote.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 5.1, consideration, discussion, possible approval of the minutes of the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting for February 26, 2024. Do I have corrections, additions, or a motion to approve? Agency Member Dare?
I move to approve the minutes of the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting for February 26, 2024.
Okay. Agency Member Vanderwell?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
That's for you, Donald.
Moving on to item 6.1, consideration and possible acceptance of the report of the claims and bills approved for payment and appropriation transfers for the period of February 13th, 2024 through March 12th, 2024. Looking for a motion to accept. Agency Member Lawson.
I have moved to accept the report of claims and bills and appropriation transfers for the period of February 13th, 2024 through March 12th, 2024.
Agency Member Vanderbilt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 8.1, comments from the public. Do I have any comments from the public, Madam Clerk?
Andrea, you're the only public left.
Still seeing no comments from the public. I will close item 8.1. 8.2, announcements from the agency and Chief Administrative Officer. Chief?
No, ma'am.
Anyone on the agency? Okay, seeing none, we're adjourned.